This was Adam when he was about 4 months old. He always had such bright eyes, and he was the easiest baby. You could tell by his cry exactly what he wanted, but he was always happy. We used to always joke because something was always moving. His leg would be moving, or he'd be trying to talk. He was always moving around and just so happy. He had the best disposition, and the smile on his face here, that's what it's kind of smile you always had. His eyes were always sparkling, and he always had a great smile.
I wouldn't want anyone seeing me in my bathroom.
This is Adam and Quincy and Adam's first Christmas. See his eyes again? His eyes were always so bright. He was so cute. He loved his big sister. There's another picture of the same Christmas of them. This is my very favorite picture. And it was just of a candid shot. And the two of them are just looking at each other and just adoring each other. And Adam's little hand is on Quincy's knee. And I just love that shot. And it was just taken. It wasn't posed at all. It was just taken. But you could just see how he looked up to his big sister.
Is it just interesting to see how a man deals with vanity, or why are you filming this? I mean, I have a towel on, but I'm still, exposed.
This is Adam when he was in preschool, so he was about 2.5 years old. Look at that smile, he was so cute. And then here's a Christmas picture with Quincy, and I think that was his 3rd Christmas. Yeah, that was his 3rd Christmas. And then here's another preschool picture when he was about 4. Just looking up at you, look at those cheeks. He's so cute.
Thought it was interesting when I was a kid, this girl, you're double-sided. This girl told me that if you put your finger in your ear, it'll poke through to the other side. But that's what her dad told her. Don't have any alcohol, because it doesn't matter. I thought that was interesting, because it's like all those things that parents tell us when we're kids, and it's like, what if they didn't tell us that? Maybe we wouldn't be so neurotic as teenagers, because then you find out that everything they told you wasn't really true.
It's about schizophrenia in particular, or that underneath it, there's some sense, some semblance of a structure, and that our purpose is to have enough patience, if you're in the healing field as a therapist, to sit through the hysteria, the busyness, the seeming disorganization, that beneath that is something very real, true, and authentic.
Too far away. Too fast. Oh, you didn't hit your bolt tank. Go later, there.
And it's like, I don't know, every night you just have this disconcerting feeling, you know, like it's like 12:30 why am I up? Cause like, you know, other kids, they'll be up at 12:30 to watch, you know, Adult Swim or porn. But I just, you know, just kind of sit in my room here, and I mean, I have stuff, a phone, you know, so I can, I have books, I have a lot of, you know, graphic novels, this textbook on Stanley Kubrick, Walden. I can't really read them though, cause it's not that I can't. I don't know. You know, when you read Thoreau and it's just like too much of an effort. Oh my God! Like I can imagine for anyone, when you read Thoreau, it's too much of an effort. I remember last year, actually, yeah, like almost a year ago, I was in the hospital for practice, and I don't know if you'll be able to see scars in that, but there's one kind, I don't know, but yeah, this thing called pectus, when your sternum caves in, right, and I bought probably like 15 books, because they were like, yeah, you're going to be in the hospital for 5 days and it's going to be super boring. And I was already anticipating, they were like, oh yeah, this is one of the more painful of surgery. And so I was ready, in a sense, you know, to pass time. But then, I don't know, I got to the drugs that they gave me, like the 7 narcotics. It was Percocet, which made me throw up, which was great right after getting your ribs bent open, and then hydrocodone, which makes you feel like Superman. Valium, which one night they gave me 3 of in 10 minutes, and I mean, like, I can understand, actually no, I can't, I don't understand what the attraction of Valium is, because that was really bad. Morphine, I was always on morphine, but people are always like, oh, did you hallucinate? And it's like, not more than I usually did, I don't know, I didn't hallucinate, it just made me super tired. And when I tried to read, it was just, you know, like, words, and, I don't know, like, I have stuff to do. It's not that I don't have stuff to do, because, you know, that whole apathetic teenager syndrome that every parent is, like, scared of their kid getting, and that's inevitably evolutionary.
I can't imagine a basset hound singing fast. I mean, they just
Well, she's a
sing.
little, she's, you know, she is slower, but since she's younger, she's kind of going a little bit faster
Yeah.
than the other one who's like,
Exactly. This is sort of that
and it's just,
attitude toward life too.
yeah. So it's fun, but it's just really amusing with the time. Thank you so much. Hope you
Thank
enjoy.
you. Thank you. See you soon.
Look at that.
And then one of us will get a sword. That's the end of our like our reputation. So I like how all of our sax was really have such like a finish for all of our sax is because he put it in.
It appears that the continued use of the do on 2 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wanted to have my senior show there, and so I called them, and then they were like, or no, I actually, because the first time I went there, I got their full like 16 movie thing, and then they said not to, or the guy was like, why don't you have your senior show here? And so I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And then I came back like 2 months ago and said, yeah, I want to have my senior show here. And he's like, all right, well, call this number. So I called the number and they put me on hold for 15 minutes. And then told me to email this other guy, and then I emailed him and he never replied. And I mean, it was a really thorough email.
Yeah, so you've no one that can keep it on.
The whole apathetic teenager syndrome that every parent is like scared of their kid getting, when that's inevitably, I don't know, is it evolutionary? Is anything really evolutionary? Is anything up to our, like, who knows, is atheism just caused by some evolutionary push to rebel, you know, all these things we think really define us, and then, you know, one of us will get a disorder, and that's the end of our like our reputation. So I like how Oliver Sacks put it. That's probably why I have such like a fetish for Oliver Sacks, is because he put it in the man who mistook his wife for a hat, he put it like, we always focus on the negative things in psychology instead of focusing on how it's like 99% of someone is good, and then they just have this one thing that'll push them off from everyone else, and then we act like they're no longer, you know, like there in a sense. And I like it because in the story, the guy tries to put his wife's head on as if it's a hat because he has visual agnosia. Is that how it's pronounced? It's basically like Broca's aphasia, but with vision. And so he can see everything fine, but he can't recognize what it is. You know, and like with the function that goes along with it. So then he asks Oliver Sacks at the end of the story, and he's like, what should I, what's wrong with me? And Oliver Sacks is like, I don't see anything wrong with you. I see a lot of great things. And if you wanted to prevent something that you see as being not word, no, because it's not, because Oliver Sacks wouldn't say that. Not that it's not worthy, but that's what we'd call it, is that it's not, like, it's not normal. And so he's saying, you know, not that it's not normal, but I'd focused your life on music. And it's like an inside joke you wouldn't really understand unless you read the story, but yeah, I don't know where I was going.
over the 28 years that I've been teaching and the 10 years I've worked with the governor's school students, I've had the opportunity to work with some pretty amazing students. Adam is one of them. Adam is one that I will remember for forever. He really stands out in my mind as a young man with a great deal of courage and an incredible insight in dealing with real issues, not issues that are juvenile or, you know, when you think of youth art, you think of things that are superficial. Real serious concerns about identity, concerns about life and death, concerns about most things that adults think about. When he came to us, he was very shy, and I remember interviewing him, and we had already selected our students for the upcoming year, but after looking at his work, it was obvious that we needed to somehow find room for this young man. I did not have him as a student at the beginning, because I generally have the upperclassmen. So I did not have him in direct observation, but the first instance I was awakened to the kind of work that he does was with an assignment that had to do with identity. And he was, what he did was he took a mock-up of Waldo from Where's Waldo, and he covered the head with a bag and hung it from various places in the gallery. And it was a very disturbing image, disturbing such that it was taken down by a colleague of mine. And after talking to Adam about what he was thinking about when he created this piece, I suddenly realized that this is not a young person's perspective on things, but there were a lot of concerns going on behind the scenes. He was really dealing with the loss of identity, and the idea of Where's Waldo in the crowd was really an interesting symbol to use, and the loss of identity that takes place with all the cameras, all the observation that's being taken place. And I was really quite taken back by, again, the depth of his thought process, but also by the courage with which he created the piece, and then the courage with which he dealt with the censorship that happened because of the provocative nature of his work. He was respectful. He understood that a decision had been made. He clearly expressed his displeasure, but when I told him that this was a decision that was made and at an executive level, and that I was not going to share with him who the person was that took it down, he accepted it, and he thought about it, and he probably absorbed it, and I have no doubt that he probably did another piece of art based on it.
Going to sleep. Okay. Oh. I wish I had. See that? Yeah. Wish I had some like a face vacuum where you could just know? Wouldn't that be nice? I never take showers at night. This is really weird. Just kind of feel like shit at night. So it's like you have to wake up another day. And then feel like shit at night again. Maybe that's kind of a non sequitur, but because one of the things is that you know the next day you're not going to feel better, you're going to feel worse. Because it's degenerating, and, you know, one day you say, oh, I think my mind is going, and then next month you don't know where, like, you can't recognize, you know, because it's still going, but you don't know where it was before. And the whole, I can't put things together anymore when I talk. People realize, I don't know, when I talk I pause a lot because, you know, you're not supposed to pause. You're not supposed to say, as we learned in EP Psych, word salads. But I can tell when I'm talking when I'm going off, you know. I can tell when I'm not on track. And you have these multiple, like one of the things is when you have conversations, you have multiple people in your head talking, but it's not like multiple personality disorder. It's just like, it's you, but you'll be thinking one thing, and then the whole, oh, I don't know if you'll remember this in the future thing. So you think about like 10 things at a time, and then you'll just say them all at the same time, and people just kind of look at you like you have disorganized schizophrenia. And that's why I pause so much, and then, I don't know, I know I have a lot of weird mannerisms, and I try to hide them, which is why like I twitch a lot, but not like I have compulsion. And I don't know. I feel like I don't know where anything is anymore, and then there's, you know, mom and dad and language, and you know, you're walking through this tunnel and the light's coming down, and then you can't really see anything. And so you're riding, like there's a grasshopper, so you just try to follow him. But you're pretty much blind. So I don't know if it's grasshopper, you know. And then you go to Kmart, and then you walk around Kmart for like an hour and pretend like you're shopping, but everyone knows that you don't have any money to buy anything. And then I don't know. How do you even tell anymore where you were a month ago? Because I don't even know, and you guys probably know. That's one of the things, is that all of you guys know. But I don't know.
Starting really early.
But you guys can walk up to me and be like, a month ago, I haven't held a conversation.
Get there whenever you can.
Or you could do
Going on. That's all the time. He doesn't talk as much.
Like what?
That's
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like what? This is like a band.
Yeah, I know.
It's like Penny Lane.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the dark about everything. That's probably what I hate the most. That I no longer can't tell who I am. And Ron knows that. Ron knows. Everyone knows more than I do nowadays, you know? Everyone knows. That's what sucks. You all know me more than I do. Because I only know me now, but you guys know me then. And you can compare the two and you'll know the difference between me then and me now. And that's how you'll grade me. You'll say, oh, Adam, he's now can't hold a conversation. He's going off on tangents. He's saying 10 things at the same time. He's talking about things that don't make sense. And I'm in the dark about everything. I don't even know what I am anymore.
You see him, Adam, agitated, confused, anxious. But I know there is a part of you underneath all of that that can still tell me what you really want. So I want you to tell me what you really want.
Guess some perspective with with in life I want to be able to not walk down the street and have people recognize me, but I want to be able to walk down the street and then recognize myself and know that when I see myself in the mirror, I'm seeing who I truly am, and when I see my art, I see who I really am inside my art versus not now, but with a lot of artists, they're on the track where you can't see what they're doing about anything really, and they're kind of just really going along, and they don't know how their materials affect them, which I know I can't say, because it's like if I say that, it's going against my philosophy that it's up to one single person to determine their own success versus everyone else. And if you wanna make art that pleases other people, then make art that pleases other people. But I wouldn't say that people are successful because they make art that pleases other people. And
What kind of art do you make?
I don't know, recently a lot of my art's just been, I wake up, and then you know how when you wake up you're out of it, but I feel that I'm more out of it, and I'm just kind of sinking back, and I'm not like getting up. I hate getting up in the morning, not due to depression, but just because I don't feel ready, and I want to be ready every morning. But then it's just like I have stuff and I want to finish the thoughts that I wake up with, but I never can.
You know, there are times that Adam would get really angry and real fast. They used to tell him he could go from 0 to 60 in a second. But he would get angry real fast and get heated, start yelling. And then he usually calms down pretty quickly. If he doesn't, he pouts and just doesn't want anybody to talk to him. But he can get angry fast. And maybe that was a sign of things going around. I don't know. But again, looking back on stuff, that maybe that's what happened. And things that we should have seen as parents, but we didn't. I just kind of thought that was part of growing up. And it was, you know, like part of puberty and all that. But his anger got really hot, and especially it was quick. So at least he's reacting to stuff.
I think one of my favorite things about Adam is his seriousness for his art form, even when it's like the most ridiculous situation. I also appreciate his curiosity and how hard he pursues his art form because he has such a passion for it. And that inspires me to take what I enjoy, which is visual art, and press myself to like the furthest I can go with it. And the courage he has to do like some of the weirdest things, but some of the most amazing things, is so just great. And I wish I could take some of that and put it into myself, which I think I've taken a lot of aspects of his life and I try to connect it into mine. And I want to be able to take all that he's taught me and like really internalize it and put it forth in not only my art form, like visual art, but I want to be able to pursue my career and have that confidence that he has with his art form. I want to be able to not feel afraid of what I'm about to do or question my art form and wonder if someone's going to appreciate it. I want to be able to go balls to the wall and just have no fear. I also think that his humor is very different than most, but I can appreciate it. And I adore it so entirely because it's so different, and he's such a versatile human being that it's just impressive, and the work that he does is impressive.
He's really, and it's funny because then he's like, all right, I'll take your cheapest flight, your cheapest and shortest flight. He's like, that would be to Pittsburgh, and he's like, I'll take your second cheapest.
I would like to let him know before he leaves that he was a mentor, and not just like one of the greatest friends that I had through like my young adult life, even though I've known him only like 3 years. Me as a person has changed a lot. And I consider it for the better.
One time it was snowing and we had off of school and work, and Adam was just about, he would have been 4, so he was about 3.5. And we went for a walk up at Seashore State Park, and there was snow everywhere. It was really, really pretty. Snow sticking on all the trees. And Quincy and Adam and I were hiking, and we decided to take Indian names. And I think Adam was Little Bear, and I forget Quincy's name, but I was Mourning Dove. And we were walking down the trail, and I guess I was getting behind, and Adam turns around and he says, "Hey, wake up, duck." Come on, wake up, duck. But he changed Mourning Dove to Wake Up, Duck. He was just so intelligent about changing things around. I mean, a kid at 3.5. And then one time we were at the Cracker Barrel, and Adam asked the waitress for dog shushers. And the waitress said, what? He said, I want some dog shushers. And then we figured out he was asking for hush puppies. So you turn it around to dog shushers. It's just little stories like that of, I remember he was in kindergarten and they were talking about the aliens and illegal aliens, and he used to watch Good Morning America every morning, and he was really into politics. He was just in grade school, and he would tell you all about the politicians, and he would tell me who I should vote for. And one day they were talking about illegal aliens, and Adam looked up at me and said, Mom, what's a legal alien? He was thinking of aliens from outer space. And if they were talking about illegal, he was questioning, what's a legal alien? So he just had a different way of thinking, and very creative. He always had a sketchbook with him. He was always drawing something. If he didn't have a sketchbook with him, he would get like a program, and we'd be watching ballet or Quincy dancing, and he would have a program to be just drawing all over the program. He was showing a lot of his artistic talent when he was really young. Like in elementary school, you would see his art compared to the other kids, and his art was a lot better. Even though his mom, I thought they were a lot better. So he always had this artistic way about him and creative, and he always appreciated things that other little kids wouldn't even notice. And he would talk about how pretty things were. And it was just kind of fascinating how he was always into the artistic and reading. He always read books, and they'd be pretty deep books for a kid his age. He was always reading, and sometimes, like more recently, they would be dark books and movies. And he'd be watching films, and he'd want me to watch a film, and it would be kind of dark. I really didn't like him. But he was watching it for different reasons than what I was watching it for, because he was so much into film, and he always would know about the directors and the actors and the time period, the history, all of that. And he really got into all the makings of the film and what was behind it. But he got into a lot of dark films, and sometimes I'd wonder if something was going wrong. You kind of think of this kind of stuff, and you look back, and then you can see, well, this and this all added together. There might have been the beginnings of what his problems are, but we didn't see it. But you can see it now looking back, and as parents, you don't want to see that kind of stuff. And so but in looking back, I could just kind of see where things might have been starting to go wrong, and he was withdrawing and getting him more into himself.
In teaching Adam, I often felt that he was running circles around the people around him, intellectually, conceptually, and also myself, running circles around me too, and the lesson. The lessons that are typically given at the governor's school are open-ended, as one that I just described. Adam seemed to, first of all, absorb the assignment, but then began to think about the purpose of the assignment and why the assignment was there and how he felt about that assignment. So his work was always very sophisticated. His dealings with media were brand new. were fearless. And although he failed sometimes with what he was trying to do, that's a sign of really risk-taking, and that's a sign of growth. So he was unafraid to fail as well, unafraid to make the assignment, make the learning process as significant in his development as a young man, as in his development as an artist, make it as significant and as deep as possible. I will miss him. I worry about him. I worry about the fragile nature of his intellect, physically, his body. I know that this is going to be a big change, and he's going to be working without a net. But I think he has the tools to handle just about anything that's going to come his way. And I know that we're going to hear from him again. I have utmost confidence in that. Thank you.
So let me tell you a little bit more about Adam. In fact, I could talk forever about Adam. So I'm going to do my very best to tell you what I think is most important to understand, or at least it's the thing that I think is most important that I'm trying to understand. And it has to do with his disorganized schizophrenia on the one hand, but more so his delusion. That going back many years, and he's young now, he's 17, but going back many years, he had this idea that people were noticing him, and at first it seemed like self-consciousness, but then he noticed other things, that it seemed like people were taking pictures of him, or perhaps observing him, his life as a story. And then this unfolded, and it seemed like his own life was a television show that others may or may not be watching, but they could watch it. And now his delusion has become more sophisticated to the point where he truly believes that a documentary is being made about his life.